Hi everyone, it's David France. Just going to cover off the strategies with you, just an overview of the strategies and what they are in basic terms. We won't get too technical on these, we're just going to give you an overview so you understand how they work. Okay, so the first one is rent to rent. How does rent to rent work, and how can we as property brokers or an investor, how do they make money from them? So if you imagine a property is up for rent, you see it up for rent on some of the portals, whether it's Open Rent, UPad, even Rightmove, you can see them up for rent. So say this one's up for 400 per month. So we approach the landlord and we've got scripts for this and things like that. So what we do, we approach the landlord and we say, would you be open to a long-term let, company let on this particular property? And most landlords are open to a long-term let. Who wouldn't? Especially when you reiterate the benefits of having a long-term tenant, no void periods, usually the maintenance is taken care of, and there's so many more benefits and recurring payment every month. All they've got to do is check the bank account. So it's a good position for lots of landlords. So we usually negotiate these up to 5 years. So up to 5 years, these in term. It can be, you can put do 12 months, even 6 months, it depends. And how we as brokers put these together is we find properties that can be turned into like cash flowing machines. So how does an investor make money on top of that 400 a month? So what we do is look at HMOs, for example. You could charge £100 per room in some areas. So you've just created 400 there from 4 rooms, and that's per week. So landlord was getting that per month, but you're actually getting that per week, or the investor is going to get that per week. So this is where we make our money. We put them two together, and then how we make money is we charge a fee for packaging this up to an investor, and usually we charge anything from sort of £1,000 to £5,000. I've sold them for more. I did one day. It was a big 10-bed down in South Wales, and I packaged that up, sold it to an investor for £7,000, and it's all based on how much money they make per month. So you can see where you can make the money here. So this whole property, most landlords are quite lazy, and they just want peace of mind knowing that the property's taken care of and they've got the rent landing every month. If we can guarantee that, then we can look at creative ways, because we're sophisticated investors, how to profit from these types of property transactions. So we're splitting the property up, and this is a room by room rate, and then you're creating £400 a week. Obviously over a month, less bills and less the £400 payment to the landlord, you're going to generate significant cash flow. So let's give you the example on the numbers on this deal and how an investor would cash flow from this deal. And this is where it gets really juicy and you can make a lot of money. So you've got £400 rent per person, and we've managed to get 4 rooms. This is just on a basic property, which is usually maybe a 3-bed, 2 reception room property, and you're converting one of the reception rooms into a 4th bedroom, and you get 4 lettable rooms. Loads of properties out there like that. So it's a very simple, workable example. £400 per room per week times 4.33 is our monthly calculation, and then the gross rent is £1,732. That's how much you generate from letting it like that, and then you less your costs, which is your £400 to your owner. Got the bills at £65 per person. So 65 times 4 equals 260. So then that comes off the total as well. And that leaves you with a profit of £1,072 per month from a property you don't own. How many of those would you like? Or how many of those would you need to make your income goal every month? But obviously as brokers, we're brokering these deals and we're selling these on for quick fees. Now some people might say, well, why are you selling something on if it's that good? Well, it sounds a very good strategy, but it does take some time to go from that to that. Typically some councils, you've got to put fire doors in, you've got to put hardwired smoke alarms, and there can be some quite expensive conversion costs, but it's still very good leverage because you're not have to put in a 25% deposit into these properties, and you're still making a 1,072 a month. Now obviously there will be some other costs coming off that, so you won't at the end of the year it's likely to be a lot less than that, because you've got you'll have void periods, you'll have some unexpected costs that crop up, but you'll still make very, very good cash flow from this property. So that's the rent to rent model, and it works really well. And you can also, let me just show you another quick example of how you can make some good money from rent to rent. The big buzzword at the moment is serviced accommodation, and so if you've got a property usually in a central location, say Manchester for example, slap bang in the city centre, or London, or somewhere like that, somewhere where there's lots of people, business people and leisure people that come there for weekends or weekdays, and you can find properties that can be used as short-term accommodation. So again, we'll use an example of say £400 a month. Probably going to be more, especially if it's in Manchester, but we use this particular. In fact, tell you what, let's do a real example of one that I've got. So I pay the landlord £750 on the one I've got. This is in Manchester, and I offered them guaranteed rent up to 5 years. Now they didn't accept 5 years. He said let's do a 12-month contract and see how we go from there. Now I could have obviously packaged that deal up and sold it on, but I decided to keep it for myself because it's not too far from me, and I like the model and it's a nice product to offer. So what we do is, previous example, obviously we're splitting the rooms up, but you don't need to do that with this case. If it's an apartment, for example, the one I've got is a 1-bedroom apartment, right bang in M1 postcode, and I just dressed it all up really nice, like a hotel kind of standard, and I've put it on Airbnb. I'm sure you've all heard of that, and Booking.com as nightly rate. Now my nightly rate, it does vary from the week to the weekends. Weekends are always busiest. We're playing about our rate, but we're getting around about 125 per night. Now if you work the numbers out, you get 125 a night based on like a 70% occupancy. We've got calculators to work these out as well, your net profits from them, and we're looking to, it does vary what you make from these particular apartments, but people like it because you can generate anything from sort of £500 net cash flow to £2,000 per month. Okay, so in this particular instance, you're making similar kind of figures to if you were to chop the rooms up, if you were to find a bigger property. But interesting enough, some of the regulations around rent to rent, for example, the 4-bed I just showed you, because that's classed as somebody's primary residence, in some areas there's something called Article 4. I don't want to get too complicated here, but it's just an overview of the strategies. But Article 4 means in some areas you have to go through planning and things like that, whereas if you run something as short-term stays, it sits outside the Housing Act, and you don't need to operate them with licenses or anything like that, because it's short-term accommodation. Obviously you need to provide safe accommodation still, but it's not as costly to set something like that up. Okay, so you can make good money, good income. An investor will take them all day long. Now if we were to sell that as a broker like we do, we can look to generate anything from again £500 to £2,000 a deal, and these are quite easy to find. We'll show you how to find them, and you just got to go in with a certain pitch to landlords, give them confidence, clarity and certainty. That's what they're looking for, that you're going to be able to operate the properties. Show them some examples of some properties, and they'll happily give you their properties to run like hotel rooms, because they are like mini hotel rooms, and that's what you can get as a packaging fee, or that's what you can get as if you were to keep them and cash flow them yourselves. So that's a rent to rent model, and the next one I'm going to show you is lease options, because you can turn this any type of property into a lease option. So let me show you that really exciting strategy next.